Okay.
Stevenson Michael's podcast.
Okay.
Stevenson Michael's podcast. This is Stevenson Michael. You know who this is. Hey y'all, this is Stevenson Michael's podcast, and this is my eighth episode of my podcast, my eighth one. And I told you guys I was gonna make an episode of Don Toliver versus J. Cole debate, which I think which album is better. And I'm gonna explain to that part, which album that I think is better between those two artists, end of this episode. And I'm just so happy, man. I'm just really, really so happy that I'm making this episode for you guys, because this episode's gonna be so much fun. Me explaining, what songs that think was the most I like on each album. What features that I think it was the strongest features on the album. Um, which album that I think it has a more impact of this year, 2026. And I meant to talk about all of that. And I'm gonna start with Don Toliver's first before I get to J. Cole's, and that's why the name of this episode, Don Toliver versus J. Cole debates. And I'm gonna start with Don Toliver's album that he released on Friday, January 30th, which the same day that I dropped my new single, my second single to start of this year, 2026, You Heart remix with Young Havoc. And that was the song of my original single that I released last year on You Heart. So that was the day that I released my my remix of my single You Heart. And that was the same day that I released it. So yeah. And that's the day that Don Toliver dropped his, fifth studio album on Friday, January 30th, 2026. And the name of his album is Arting. That's the name of it, of his album. And, his, what it sounds like right here.
Octane.
Octane. See? Octane, of the name of his album. I know it sounds weird, but I just wanted to, put that out there. You feel me? But yes, that's the name of his album, Arting. And yeah, let's jump into it. Okay. When I very first listened to this album, man, this album was fucking insane. It was fucking insane, yo. Like, every single song of this album, it was full of fucking bangers, bro. Like for example, to start off the album, E85, like that song, I mean, the way he like started off the track list of the album, to start off the album, with an amazing intro, and just like, enjoy harder and the feeling of love, how do you want and the feeling of love, yeah, and just like that. And it was just like, the drums, you know, get this right. Like, oh my god, like that. To start off the track list and to start off the album, it was just that's how you fucking start the album, man. Like it was fucking insane. Like I love the first track of that song, E85, and then track two, um, fuck your body, taking that sample of Justin Timberlake's, um, you know, one of his hit songs that he had, back in the 2000s, um, Rock Your Body. That was the name of his song, Justin Timberlake's Rock Your Body. But instead, you know, Don Toliver took that sample and, sampling it on his song called Body. So, but I'm not gonna lie, people were upset that he took that sample off, Justin Timberlake's song. But for me, personally, as a Don Toliver's fan, I didn't give a fuck. I didn't give a fuck. I'm not gonna lie, it sounded even more fire when he sampled it. So I didn't mind it. I mean, if it was like an artist that they sample from, and then and then they make a sample of it, but then they don't make a good song of it, then okay, yeah, I get you guys. I get what you guys are saying, but it was a great fucking song, man. Like I love how this producer produced this thing, and and I'm being the producer produced by the song credits. Yo, even Travis Scott was on the produce on this album too. I mean, not. I mean, he was on this album, producing one, but I'm just talking about the song, really. Like this, he was he even produced some of it on this song on Travis Scott. You feel me? So, amazing song, amazing production. I love how they sampled the song of Justin Timberlake's song, and I love it. I don't care what anyone says. They can hate it the fuck they want, and I just don't give a fuck. But what I want to talk about is that my top three songs out of this album is, I'm going to the track list right now, is hold on. Okay, my top three is Second Head featuring Rima, and then the second song is ATM, and then three, All the Signs featuring Tizo Touchdown. Those are my top three songs off this album that I think is the most songs that I like. But either way, like for my opinion, this album has no skips. I don't have any skips out of this album. I don't have any skips. And this album is just like freaking changed everything, man. Like it changed anything. It just changed everything. With the Billboard charts. You feel me? Like it's still doing very well with the Billboard charts, and I don't know why people keep saying that. Oh, This album is not album of the year. I don't know why people are going crazy with this album, you know, blah, 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 blah. Guys, if you haven't listened to the album, right? If you haven't listened to the album, why you guys are hating about it? You feel me? Like, why are you guys hating on the album? Like, you don't even have to be a Don Toliver fan. You just, you know, I just feel like you're not giving enough credit to what he does, you know, like as an artist. And the reason why I say things like for me as a Don Toliver fan is because in the last couple of years he's been dropping great albums. He's been dropping consistent albums and consistent music, and what he does comfortably with his music. This is his style of music. Okay, yes. Does he have great messaging at times? No, not really, but at least his songs is more hyped, more entertaining than the other artists that we have in this generation. Cause right now, this generation in hip hop and you know in rap, let's be honest, it's been trash. Like you really get think, like for example, Sexy Red. You really get think that she's gonna save hip hop? Really? Sexy Red? Like what are we talking about here? What the fuck we talking about? And don't even get me started with Lil Baby. Lil Baby, man, like his music is just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. A lot worse. And last year, end of last year, I listened to his mixtape because he released a mixtape like right after he released his studio album beginning of last year, which that album didn't do nothing, and it completely did nothing for the his mixtape too. Yo, that was so trash and boring, man. Like that mixtape was awful. I don't even know why he released that in the first place. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? See, that's what I'm saying. And then NBA YoungBoy, you really think NBA YoungBoy is gonna save hip hop and rap? No, I don't think so. So like that's what I'm saying. At least Don Toliver is consistent with putting out great music out there, and songs that he puts out, he doesn't even get the credit for what he does as an artist. And that's sad because people are not really paying attention to what he does as an artist. Okay, I don't care what anyone says. He is a top 5 hip hop artist right now. He is in that conversation right now. In this 2020s decade. I don't care what anyone says. I really don't care what anyone says. Like you guys could comment under the you know the YouTube channel. You guys could comment on this episode right now and saying that, oh, I'm crazy for making this debate. I'm crazy for saying this and that. No, I'm not crazy for saying this because Don Toliver, man, what is he like? What does other artists done? What have they done? What have they done in this 2020s decade? What have they done? They haven't done nothing. Okay? They haven't done nothing. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, okay, despite the that 2024 year Drake versus Kendrick Lamar beef, despite that, what does other artists done? They haven't done anything. Okay, that's why And the rap category, it's been falling off the cliff. And y'all really telling me that Don Toliver's album is not a great album? Really? Like y'all really telling me about that shit right now? Really? Okay. Whatever. Um, I'm just I'm just not good. That's crazy to me. And for them to not enjoying the album. I mean, I get it. I'm good, respect, people's opinions and stuff. I get that. But the one thing that really got in my head is that for Luke for Luca said, JT should be mad about this. For what? What, for stealing a fucking sample and making a better beat? What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? And then he was like, "Oh, okay, it's a cool song, but I might not revisit it." You really gonna tell me that E85 on the first track of the album, you're not revisiting that one? What? What's wrong with that song? Yo, that literally sparked up the whole entire fucking album. Like, what? What? Like, what are we talking about? Like, come on, yo. You ain't gonna tell me all of these 18 songs, they're not great songs? Like, I'm looking at the track list right now on YouTube Music. Like, you really gonna tell me, like, okay. But you guys get what I'm getting at, though. Because the reason why I wanted to play one of the songs out of that album, just to show you guys how great of this album is. It's a great album. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Like, this is easily album the year conversation. Easily. I don't care what anyone says. And that's all I gotta say about this album. And now I'm moving on to J. Cole's album, The Fall Off. And yeah. Man, with this album, this album was a story. It was a storytelling album for J. Cole. And this was one of the albums that it was a legendary moment for J. Cole. And he keep telling everybody that the last couple of years that it's this might be his last album. And I could definitely felt that way by listening to it, my full experience, listening to the full album. And for me personally, I'm happy for J. Cole. I'm happy that he bounced back after a tough 2024 year that that he had with that beef going on with him and Kendrick. But then couple of days later he apologized to Kendrick for dissing him, and he even removed a diss track off his mixtape project, just removed it, just not on on stores anymore because of that. And yeah, and he was dealing with a lot that year. And for me as a J. Cole fan, I get where he was coming from, and I get why he did what he did, because he just didn't want to make things. He just didn't want things to make things a lot worse. Where it was um when he made that diss track, but then he deleted the track and removed it from all the platforms and stuff. And then when he was doing his show, a week later, after he released his diss track, but then he removed it off platforms, he apologized to the whole entire world, to Kendrick, for dissing him. Cause he never wanted this to happen, and that proves to me that he's just being a man, and being a human being who he is as a person. So I appreciate that from J. Cole, and also I appreciate him for just not getting just not getting involved and not continue to get involved with this nonsense. It was going on between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. So so I was proud of him for that. So with this album that he released, the Fall Off, it was an important album for J. Cole. Especially if he wants to get back to, the rap game and try and prove it. Not prove to everyone, but, letting everyone know that he's the best rapper in the game right now. Like he's one of the best rappers in this game, and he's still carrying the crown that, the best rapper in the fucking game. And he wanted to, let everyone know that, with this album that he dropped earlier this year in February. So that's why with this album, it was just a storytelling album. And my top 3 songs off this album is Run a Train, Who the Fuck Is You? That's second. And then 3, Man Up Above. Those are my top 3 songs off of J. Cole's The Fall Off album. And yeah, and this album is just amazing storytelling, explaining, the things that he was going through. The last couple of years, especially the year 2024. He even made a song about how he wished it would have ended differently. Like how handled differently of the beef situation of Kendrick and Drake. And then he even mentioned that they stole my boys. I mean, like, they stole my guys, they stole my niggas. And and he just wishes that they were a part of this album, because he even mentioned it too, that Drake and Kendrick Lamar, they were supposed to be on this album, The Fall Off. Like people forget that, like they were supposed to be on this album, but since the beef between those two, and then of course J. Cole had was involved with it a little bit before he back off of it. It completely changed everything, and that's why for both of them, they wasn't on this album. And and obviously that's sad, because everyone wants to see great artists like Drake and Kendrick Lamar, be on the same album. All three of them, working music together like they used to in the past. Back in the early 2010s. You feel me? So, um, but yeah, he it's not just about the beat, but he mentioned like a lot of things on this album, and I just really appreciate J. Cole with this album. I had one, two, and three skips with this album. Most of them are either intro or outro. Either way, like those were the only three skips. But like song to song, no skips on this album. That's how great of a fucking album is. But I did have one problem, just a one small problem with this album. It was 1 hour and 41 minutes of a listen. It was that long of an album. It was like this one, like half 12, half 12, like 12 12, total 24 tracks. But like just overall, like minutes and hour wise with this album, 1 hour and 41 minutes. That's how long that's how long is this album. And that's just the one small problem with this album that I had. But despite that, man, like this album was fucking legendary. Do I think it's his best album? Not at the level of his other previous albums, his earliest in his earliest in his earlier career. It's definitely not at that level, but it's close. It's close enough for being that conversation, one of his best albums that he ever put out of his career. Especially especially what he came through after that whole mess, in 2024, and when he was just completely destroyed by the fans, and how they thought he didn't handle it well in the situation. I thought he did, for my opinion. So I just love how he took it personal and just write everything that he thought of in his head, with this album, The Fall Off. And I'm gonna give you guys my final thoughts, what I think which album is better, and you guys are going to be mad when I tell y'all which album that I think is better between those two artists. You know, J. Cole and Don Toliver. Um, I'm gonna the album that I think is better. I think Don Toliver's Arting is better than The Fall Off. I'm sorry. I think Don Toliver's album is better than J. Cole's album. And the reason why I think it's better, because I feel like Don Toliver is his album is more hyped than J. Cole's, and I think the production is better than J. Cole's album. The features, even though the features for the Don Toliver's album was good, but it definitely wasn't as better than the features on J. Cole's album. So I give the J. Cole's features one the nod on that one, because I feel like the J. Cole's features was a lot better than the Don Toliver's features on his albums. So I give him that. But then the Contact Matter, J. Cole's was better than Don Toliver's, and then for the replay value is Don Toliver's. It's Don Toliver's, and I just feel like, for my opinion, guys, like Don Toliver's is a more exciting album than J. Cole's. And I'm not saying that J. Cole's is not a great album. It's a great album. I really think it's a great album. But do I think it's a better album than Don Toliver's album right now in 2026? No, I don't think so. So, like, that's just my opinion. And I think, just for my opinion, Don Toliver's album is better than J. Cole's album, and I feel like it's more an impact album than J. Cole's, because Don Toliver's right now it still has the most streaming album, any album of the whole entire 2026. Okay, like, you cannot tell me that with this album that is is album of the year. Like I told people this, and I'm gonna say it again. This album, Don Toliver's album is album of the year. It's album of the year. Like, you can't tell me that another album is better than Don Toliver's right now. You can't tell me that. Like, that's how hot of an artist that Don Toliver is right now. Like, with the most streaming album of the year, the most songs on the Billboard charts right now, this year, 2026, and it's the most radio song play. One of the songs is album. So, like, I just feel like, for my opinion, this album is better than J. Cole's, for my opinion. But do I still think J. Cole's album is definitely top 3 in my list of best albums that I listened to this year? Yes, I do. Is it number 1? No, I don't think so. So that's my opinion, guys, and that's how I view of both artists, both of their albums, Don Toliver and J. Cole, and that's why this is my 8th episode of my podcast, and the name of this episode, Don Toliver versus J. Cole's debate of this episode. And thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Again, this is Stevenson Michael's podcast, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. And what do you guys think of my thoughts of how I felt about these 2 albums that I think personally are 2 of my favorite albums to listen to this year of 2026? And see you guys on the next one. Peace out.